mail by package, price by weight, like no question. Because again, that has drastically reduced the amount of time it's taken me to send out invoices. So, like I said, I kick myself for not upgrading to Local Line 2.0 before.
Hi everyone, it's Nina from Local Line. Today we have Sarah from Field Sparrow Farms to tell us a bit more about how they leverage Local Line. Hey Sarah, great to have you.
Hi, thanks for having me. It's nice to be here.
Just tell us a bit about your farm, how you guys got started, what you produce.
It's a long story how we got started, so I'll edit it down. But basically, we were hobby farming for a while and discovered we really liked working with cattle. So we started farming grass-fed beef. When we bought our farm here in Bobcaygeon in 2011, we were able to expand and add on pastured chicken. We've experimented with doing pastured pork. We've done sheep a little bit, but ultimately what we really like doing is the pastured chicken and grass-finished beef. Prior to the pandemic, we were doing a number of farmers markets. And then when the pandemic hit, we realized, like everyone else, we had to shift what we were doing. And there was a huge demand that sort of boomed all of a sudden. So originally, when we were doing markets, we had planned for, eventually we were going to move to some sort of online sales. But then with the pandemic, we literally overnight, we sent out an email one day saying, okay, we're still going to do markets. And then the next day had to send out an email saying, okay, our market has been closed down. So send us an email if you want to place an order. And so for the very first, month or two of the pandemic, we were juggling orders. I was using spreadsheets and trying to put stuff out in MailChimp, and it was such a hassle. And I'm not doing this anymore. I found Local Line. I'd heard of you before, kind of through, the farmers network of conversations. But what I liked about it was cost efficient compared to other platforms I found, and it was had some flexibility. So basically, we put everything into Local Line and got our customers on board, and it was actually a pretty easy transition, mostly because they'd been dealing with me going, okay, well, I think we're out of this, and I think I've got a spreadsheet, and so. Yeah, so it was great. We don't update our inventory until we have it in our freezer. It is really difficult to estimate the number, number of packages of ground beef I'm going to get out of a single beef. I could guess, given I have a long history of doing this, but for the most part, what happens is when we go to the butcher and pick up, the beef, we'll count everything, put it in the freezer, get average weights, and then that's when I do my Local Line update. I'll put everything in. Chicken is a little bit easier because that is predictable. There are only 2 chicken legs on a bird, only two chicken breasts. So when we process chicken, I can put those numbers in advance. But I don't do it too far in advance because I don't want people ordering stuff that's not in my freezer yet, and I don't have a way to go just pick more. So usually, again, what we'll do is once we picked it up, we'll just update the inventory at that time. For our delivery fee, we sort of just looked at, okay, what's our average delivery, number of deliveries we do, okay, what does that cost us? And then kind of divided that out into a delivery fee. And again, we tried to be careful because, we didn't want to set it too high. People were, again, making it like, oh, well, it's worth it. And we didn't want to set it too low where we were not making money. We're very customer focused. Those of us who are in this space, we like our customers. We care for our customers. We're feeding our customers. Like I would bet pretty much any farmer who's doing something similar to what we do really care about their customers. But in the reverse, we also have to kind of care about our own time and care about, value, and, we have to value our time as well. So you want that delivery number to feel good to yourself, right? So it has to be that balance.
In terms of packing your orders for delivery, how do you guys do that?
It's one of the reports, and we just, so I print it on a piece of paper, and it has, the customer's name and then, their order. And so my husband will pack it up. Currently we use bags. Sometimes we use boxes, depending on the size of the order. So he'll pack it. We have a whole bunch of freezers at our workshop, and so he'll pack it, put it in the freezer, and then, like I said, he'll give me that report, and he's written on it the pricing of it. The weight of each of the cuts. And then I send out the invoices, and then when on delivery day, he'll just load up the bags and the boxes into coolers and just bring them to people's homes.
What would you say is your favorite feature that the platform has?
Sell by package, price by weight, no question. Because again, that has drastically reduced the amount of time it's taken me to send out invoices. So, like I said, I kick myself for not upgrading to Local Line 2.0 before. That was actually a feature we were looking for when we first started looking at different online stores. A lot of other platforms just were so much more expensive that it just didn't make sense. And so I'm really pleased that it's a feature now.
If you were to give advice to a beef farmer, chicken farmer, meat farmer, let's say, who's considering selling online, what would you say? What would you say to them?
Really important to be really on top of your inventory. Like any farmer, we sometimes we eat our own food, and so it's super important to know, make sure you track all of that and pull things out of your store if you're eating it yourself. So be on top of your inventory, and then really get to know your average weights, because that's really helpful. And so again, for pricing and things like that, when you're putting it in the store, and then figure out how much work you want to put into the pricing and the inventory, because like I said, I've seen some people who just sell a chicken. They're like, all of our chickens are $25 and the weight will be between this range. So all of the chickens are between, this range, and they'll sell them that way. And that's a perfectly fine, way to sell. We do the exact price of the chicken. So, if we'll put in that it's an average of 3 pounds, and okay, so we'll put it in at 3.14 or whatever it is when we actually sell it. So you'll want to kind of consider how much work you want to do on that end. The way we do it is probably slightly more work intensive, but I personally feel it's a little bit fairer both to us. We're not losing money, and to our customers who aren't paying for meat they're not getting. So we've been using Local Line for 2020, so now it's almost 3 years. That's kind of surprised me now that I've done the math. So we've been pretty happy with it. So yeah, thanks.